My name is Mattie Milani, and this presentation is of the science of reading comprehension. So let's get started. What is the science of reading? The science of reading is phonological awareness, phonics, fluency, decoding, and vocabulary, which all lead to reading comprehension. So let's break that down a little bit. What is fluency? Fluency provides a bridge between word recognition and comprehension. Fluent readers read aloud without effort and with expression. They are able to recognize words and comprehend at the same time. And some ways to teach fluency are repetition, paired reading, and reader's theater. Next, let's talk about phonics. Phonics is a method of teaching people to read. They do this by connecting how letters and syllables sound. Phonics helps people to understand that the words in the alphabet are groups of letters that produce sounds. And often many letters, like vowels, make multiple sounds. Let's talk about phonological awareness. So according to Arkansas Rise, phonological awareness is the ability to notice the sound structure of spoken words. Phonological awareness must be mastered and is essential for reading success. It is the ability to identify, isolate, manipulate language and individual sound levels. So last, we have vocabulary. According to Arkansas Department of Education, vocabulary is the glue that holds stories, ideas, and content together, making reading comprehension possible for children. A person's vocabulary is their very own personal word vault. It is one's learned and chosen words in which to speak, read, write, and communicate with others. One's vocabulary is a powerful tool. And according to Oak Hill, Kane, and Albro, deep vocabulary knowledge is important for building a mental model of the contents of texts. So to provide reading instruction that will enable all students to succeed, educators must also have basic information about scientific knowledge, how it is developed, and how it should guide the selection and implementation of instructional programs, strategies, and approaches. The power of reading. Understanding literacy and how it controls our lives is a powerful concept. Reading comprehension is essential for overall success in education, employment, and everyday life. According to the text, understanding and reading comprehension, a reader will need to build a mental model of the text. This process is imperative for understanding what one is reading. Throughout the presentation, mental models and reading theories will be examined. Next, what is a mental model? A mental model is a mental representation that is created from information in the real or imagined. So this could be something that the comprehender has read recently or heard or even seen. It might, but not necessarily, include some imagery. So the example given to me via the text was we were supposed to read a passage about building something, but the passage had no title. So I didn't understand what I was reading since there was no title. There was nothing to give me an inference of what I was reading. Or another name for that would be a mental model. So once I understood what the title was, then rereading the passage made sense. So without the unconscious mental model, making sense of words and sentences within the text is confusing and next to impossible, especially for new readers. So next we have some reading theories. The simple view of reading. This is about decoding, phonological awareness, phonemic awareness, phonics, fluency, language comprehension, vocabulary, listening comprehension, text comprehension, and with all of this, when it all marries together, that equals reading comprehension. So this material is trying to aid educators in understanding that there is a formula to reading, and when it is followed, can create a recipe for reading success. In the next theory, we have Scarborough's reading rope. This groundbreaking infographic was created by Hollis Scarborough, a talented scientific researcher whose goal is to improve the national policy on teaching of reading. So you can see here that we have language comprehension is one part of the rope, and then the second part of the rope is word recognition. And so they're two completely different skills, but they are both needed for reading comprehension. And so once they're both mastered or in the process of being learned, you can intertwine them, so to speak, like a rope or like braiding, twisting, and together you have fluency and reading comprehension. Next, we have the four-part mental processor. So the four-part mental processor, research shows that fluent reading allows readers to interact with text on a higher level. Phonological processor, that is speech and sound awareness. The orthographic processor, that is letter and letter pattern recognition. We have the meaning and context processor, that's language comprehension. And the angular gyrus, sound symbol associations. So the job of the phonological processor is to perceive, remember, interpret, and produce sounds, all of which are very important to the overall language system. So with this, almost all of these need to be firing at the same time for this process to work, for this fluency to work, for reading comprehension, for processing and making the meaning out of sounds and letters and relating them into words. This system is where information about print is also stored. So next, Aries' model of phases of learning to read. In this model of phases of learning to read, a brief critique, this reading model was created by Linnea Airy. She suggests that scientific data to back her research that there are phases to learning how to read. It is often assumed that these stages happen based on age and grade level, which is true in today's society where all children receive an education. What I liked about Airy's four-stage methodology was that anyone, no matter what their age or grade level, could learn how to read using these stages. She called them pre-alphabetic, partial alphabetic, full alphabetic, and consolidated alphabetic. Next, where students struggle. So according to the simple view, these are a few areas that children struggle with. Word decoding, but not comprehension, or problems with comprehension and not decoding. Students who have dyslexia struggle to read words and text comprehension, but have no problem with spoken language comprehension. Some students also have difficulties with the development of both word reading and language comprehension. Teachers, educators, and parents need to consider what it is that the text that the student is having trouble with. Is it the student's reading something that they're interested in? And if they were reading something that they were interested in, would that just click? Does the text relate to the student's life? So, word reading and language comprehension. So, reading is the product of two major sets of subskills: printed word recognition and language comprehension. So, learning to read is a lengthy process that begins early in development, before children even start school, and they have achieved a level of oral language comprehension, but they often lack all the language skills they need for text comprehension. So, word reading is word decoding. It is the identification of single written words, either by letter sound associations or by recognition of the unique letter sequence. Decoding is one of the factors that makes a student either a good or poor reader. Language comprehension is using identified words to build a mental representation of the contents of a text. Reading for a purpose. Once we learn how to read, we all read for different reasons. Some people read because they have to. For example, homework, cooking recipes, work, instructions, emails, letters. Some people read for enjoyment. I know when I can personally relate to a story, I am more engaged in it. I find myself able to recall parts of the story without ease. However, when I read something that I do not enjoy, I struggle to retain the information. So, in conclusion, educators must have an understanding of science of reading as well as an in-depth understanding of phonics, phonemic awareness, and recognition and language comprehension. With all of this to support beginning readers. Without the full understanding of literacy, students will never reach their full reading potential. In conclusion, according to the Science of Reading, an overview by Dr. Jan Hasbrook, teachers, when well informed and trained, can conduct brain surgery by instruction, we essentially can rewrite the brain using the science of reading. So, something to ask yourself when students are struggling to read. Who might need the extra assistance? What kind of help do they need? And is the work working? She also mentions that active engagement is key using multimodalities like see it, hear it, say it, write it multiple times. All of this will increase reading comprehension. Thank you.